You're listening to the June 9th, 2016 reading of Blossom Goodchild's channeling with the Federation of Light.
Hello. Last week's chat was rather mind-blowing for many. I fully accept what you said, yet that doesn't mean I necessarily understand it. At the end of the day, I feel that it doesn't really matter what we understand. What matters is that we love and feel loved. For me, being here upon the planet is not just about lifting its vibration into a higher, better place. It's also about finding myself, the God self in me.
The largest of heartfelt welcomes to you this day. To each one who follows their path and acts upon that which reunites them with this very thing, their God self.
An interesting word, that. God. Warms and soothes and uplifts the hearts of many and turns off the minds of so many others. I guess I look upon God as source, love. That makes more sense to me, as being brought up a Catholic, convent boarding school, strong Catholic father. The word God also turned me off for a long time, although now I'm much more comfortable with it.
Indeed, it is a word, simply a word. And yet, words have coding. They have sound vibration in them. And although, as you say, many are out of tune with that word, it still resonates on a very high vibration.
Yet it is just a word, right? I remember Whitecloud saying once that it wouldn't matter if knitting needle was a word for God. It is the feel of it, the intent behind it that makes it what it is.
And of course, that makes sense too. Some words can be quite offensive to the ear, through the vibration of sound that they carry. And yet, if that same word is uttered from a different place of heart, the offense is not taken.
What word do you prefer to use for God, depending on what one believes God to be?
Are you asking us two questions?
I suppose I am, yes.
Firstly, then, the word. For the benefit of those upon earth that we choose would be Yahweh.
Far out. That came out of nowhere. I've heard it somewhere in my distant memory, yet can't say offhand I know much about it. I am so tempted to Google it this instant, yet I shall refrain to see what you have to say about it and then compare your version with the almighty Google. What fun!
Yahweh is the most honored ultimate. It is the all and the everything. It is the most highest revered. It is the giving and the receiving. It is that which pours forth from the deepest place of one's being. It is all that is. It is the highest vibration of love that exists.
Yes, you see, my mind went to it being a being. That's where a lot of confusion lies. Being brought up a Catholic, it took me a long time and a lot of searching to get rid of the notion that God was a man, or at least presenting in human form. So I thought when talking about Yahweh, you would say, He is.
An instant misunderstanding. He, she, we, us, they, you. Yahweh represents all, yet none of these things. It has no gender. It is not favorable to anyone or anything, for it is everyone and everything.
This I understand. I accept also that it isn't up there, it is within me, it is everywhere. It has to be, if it is everything. Yet, as I say, I still clearly don't understand it, for I still go looking for it, up there, out there, and in there. Through knowledge I accept I have found it, for it is me. Yet it doesn't necessarily feel like I have. I guess I'm waiting for that light show. Not in the sky, I don't think about that much anymore, but within inside of me.
What kind of light show?
The one many have experienced, the one where they are in the brightest light and God speaks to them. Or they just feel the most blissful peace, if only for a few short moments. That must be the coolest thing to experience and help one to hold on to the truth.
Which truth?
And we're off. The truth inside of me that knows of this light, the holy beingness that I am part of.
So, what is it, Blossom, that makes you feel you don't know it?
Well, because others have had a much more profound experience of it. My feeling of joy and love, to the best of my ability, is great. Yet are we not always stupidly seeking that icing on the cake?
Why do you think that is?
Oh, you tell me. Please. Thank you.
It is because their experience of self was ready for it at that point.
Well, my feelings are that many are ready for it. I mean, in what way ready? I think we've been down this road before, and we probably came to a dead end. Interesting. We've come to a blank. Surely not because of me saying we came to a dead end.
No. Just a little, would we say, prank? And to allow you a little time to think.
Okay, let me put it another way for practical purposes. Why, for instance, am I not ready?
You are.
Then...
Tell us, what difference would it make to you?
Well, I feel a big one. Sometimes I have little instances of that nature, either awake or asleep, and it helps me to feel like I'm on track. So, therefore, a huge encounter would set me up for life, as it seems to do for others.
Have not the ones who have experienced this also stated that they wish they could feel it again, as they are frustrated that they can't?
Yes, very much so.
There you are, then.
Where? Sorry, I don't buy it, with all respect. In fact, I'm getting a little lost. It's so hard to stay on track in these sessions sometimes, which can be frustrating for me and the readers. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not having a pop at you, just saying. I am still in a perfectly fine, flowing state of being. So where shall we go from here?
Let us retry to explain that which you are searching for. That ultimate experience that make you feel you have cracked it is there for you when you are ready at any time. You say, we say, you are ready. You are. Everyone is ready at any given time. You just have to know it.
My argument being, then, that many who have had the experience didn't necessarily know it.
How do you know that?
I don't. So how do I get to know that I'm ready when I feel I already know I am?
Let us ask a question. Do you feel that you need it?
Nope. I just would like it. I mean, wouldn't everyone?
Everyone can have it, for everyone is it.
Yes, I get all that. And I know the reason you keep on telling us this is because you need to keep repeating it until we get it. For there is no other way of explaining it, yet I still don't get it. I mean, I do. I understand the concept. I just don't feel it.
Maybe you just don't know it within the aspect of that which you are choosing to live of yourself in this moment, in this lifetime, in this physicality.
Assuming you mean know it in its fullness, in my entirety, why is it that we struggle with that? I mean, why do we only access such a small, tiny, minute aspect of all that we are? All that we know in this human form? I mean, what's that all about?
It is about experience of self. It is about coming back into the knowing of that which you know. In your rediscovering of self, awareness in full, you see it. You accept it. You acknowledge it once again for what it is. It feels new, and you wonder at it. You feel joy through it. Because of it, you appreciate it, you, for what you are. For you can recognize it as you came back into, and yet, at the same time, see it for the first time as to what it is, as opposed to have always been it.
So the point of not remembering in this physicality is to experience ourselves and all that we are as we remember who we are and what that who is capable of. If we were just always it, we wouldn't really know what it was because we hadn't experienced the contrast. So by experiencing the contrasts in their multi-trillion diverse formats, we get to know the truth of who we really are, when we are not being the contradiction of that, our truth. By George, I got it.
The badge is pinned upon you proudly.
The one for perseverance I spoke of last week.
Yes, for look where it has got you. And of course, without blowing your trumpet, it has got many others to the same place also.
Oh, blow away.
So, the more deeply you begin to understand that you are simply winding yourself in, the quicker your understanding becomes understood. Let us go back to the ball of string analogy that we spoke of last time. Yet, let us this time imagine that the entire ball of string, and how long is this ball of string, has been unwound right to the very limits of itself. All the way along that string are experiences on levels of degree of self. The one end that began unwinding is perhaps on a level of 1, and the other end is the ultimate pure love that is. Let us describe that as 10. So, as 10 begins to recoil itself back into the ball that it was, it is experiencing itself becoming whole again. It is recapturing, re-encountering itself from, back to, its ultimate position and remembering itself as it does so. As it gets closer to its completeness, it becomes more of itself. All the things that you believe you are not now become things that you are. The further the ball of string is rewound back to its originality. Is this helping you?
Yes, to a degree, yet allowing many questions to pop up.
As they always will. Should we leave it for today and say, to be continued?
That would be most satisfactory. I'm now going to Google Yahweh. Maybe I should start channeling Google. In so very much love and thanks for these teachings. Yahweh. Google says many explanations, but the one that suited me best was I am.